Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back. We're in the shop again, working on the LS. Where we left off last time, we were doing stuff on the subframe, which was an absolute pain in the ass. And this is kind of continued of that. I'm gonna be very happy to just get this over with and be done with the subframe. It's really difficult because I have nobody helping me, so maneuvering it around on my own really sucks. But yeah, got some bolts stuck last time, so we're gonna have to cut those out. Before I do anything else, I need to do something that I have been needing to do for a little bit, which is hang up the banners in here. If you guys are interested and you would like to be a sponsor of the shop, send me an email to lepautomotive@gmail.com. Let's talk. I would love to get some more banners in here and help support some companies and brands within the car community. I mean, you get your banner in the background of all of these videos that I film in the shop, which, you know, we're doing like a minimum of 100,000 views a month, which, you know, it's nothing crazy, but it's good exposure for anybody who's a smaller brand in the community, and definitely a good opportunity, so. Damn, why does my banner look like shit? The irony of me having like the worst looking banner in my own shop. You guys think I should make some Nobori flags to actually like sell? Like, would you guys want that? And then you can like rock them at shows or whatever. Like, I don't feel like it's that cool because obviously I'm promoting myself, so it's cool, but like I feel like other people don't want to fly an LEP flag out of their car. I don't know, but let me know. If there's enough demand for it, then yeah, I'll get some Nobori flags made and sell them on the store, because they're sick, but I just don't know if other people would like to rock my logo hanging off the side of their car. I don't know, let me know. Also, picked up some tires for the rear. This worked out because a buddy of mine, Henry, actually had a set of tires that he had for his wheels that were too big. They happened to be around what I was looking for. And so I just grabbed these off of him, and then we'll try them out, and if they don't end up fitting, then, you know, not really at a loss. But the wheels are 19 by 12. These are 275/30s. So the tires that were on them originally were 275/35. Now you might not think that this is that much of a big difference, and you're probably right, but I've spoken to a few people, and it actually turns out that a 275/30 on a 12 should be exactly the same stretch as a 235/35 on a 10.5, which is what I have in the front. I like that stretch that I have in the front, so I'm hoping that these will do about the same. I know a lot of people get thrown off by the sidewall profile. The sidewall is actually the percentage of the width of the tire. So 275/35, it's a 35% width of the entire width of the tire, and 30 is obviously 30%. You know, if you have a 195 with a 35 sidewall, that's going to be very different from a 295 with a 35 sidewall. Do your math and do some experimenting, ask around, see what other people have run to on certain sizes. Tirestretch.com is a great resource for looking up stuff and seeing other people's pictures and their stretch, and all tires stretch differently. Me personally, I run only Achilles ATR Sports, either the 1s or the 2s. I actually prefer the 2s. A lot of people gave me a lot of negative stick about those before I got them, saying they don't stretch well, blah, blah, blah. Not true at all. They stretch super easy. And they actually last a lot better than Federals. So Achilles ATR Sport 2s are my go-to. They're like 65 a tire, or even cheaper if you have smaller widths. How you feeling today, Ari? Yeah, me too. God, don't even, you didn't even move. You literally look like you're dead right now. There you go, come on. There you go, love me, love me. You're making me look bad. The good news, the bolt that was stuck here actually managed to get out, so I don't need to cut that anymore. It was real fucked up. Now, this is extremely rounded, and that's why I was having such a hard time, but it's off now, thankfully. We'll replace that one, and we'll see what the other ones look like. It's probably a good idea to go replace all of them. It's just a pain in the ass, because like, you have to pull the axle nut off, pull the axle out, I actually had to undo one of the arms, so the camber arm, to pull this out a little bit just to get the axle to pop out to then access the bolt that's under here. It's ridiculous what it is. Okay, quickly came to the conclusion that I'm going to replace all of these because that one was really difficult to get off, hitting it with the impact for like a minute straight. So yeah, I'm going to replace all of those because I do not want to deal with them just getting stuck on there again. That side is basically ready to go besides those bolts, so we'll run to the store in a little bit and go grab some replacements. I have both sides back assembled, axles back in there, axle nuts on, everything's tightened. Just need to go get those bolts. So I didn't realize, but there's no Ace hardware here. So there's a Lowe's. I'm pretty sure they'll have what I need. So I'm gonna try to go over there and see if I can find the right bolts. I have acquired new bolts, so we should be good to go now. All right, so by this point, everything could be pretty much ready to go back in the car. The ABS and speed sensor is now zip tied onto here like it was from the factory. Well, I mean, it's bolted, but all of them snap off when you try and take them off, so they are zip tied onto the new one. Yeah, everything is ready to go back in, but I do want to try and see if I can get a little bit of the surface rust off of this. I'm not crazy worried about sanding the entire thing down and painting it and blah, blah, blah. For the most part, a lot of it has actually come off just from me moving it around, hammering on it and whatever. Really just want to get like a little bit extra off and clean it up somewhat. The other thing is the kit for the solid bushings did actually come with solid diff bushings. I'm just kind of undecided as to whether I want to use them or not. Obviously, putting solid bushings in the subframe is already going to give me a whole lot of driveline vibration as is. Putting them in the diff is probably going to be horrible, and I don't really want to give that up. I need to have a look at these and see how bad they are. Probably be a good idea to replace them while I'm here, but do I want solid ones? I don't know. Okay, so for about the past hour or so, I have been attacking something a little bit more exciting than the subframe. Couldn't resist. Got into the car and kind of had a good look at everything, blah, 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 and then I was looking at the cuts that I made for the radius in the rear, and obviously I knew I needed to cut more and allow for more clearance, etc., etc. So I decided to sit down, do some more cutting, do some more hammering, some measuring, etc. I think now I'm about to tackle something that I've been really scared about doing since I started this process. So I can kind of show you what I've been up to. Cut this a little bit higher up. So now it should have a whole lot more clearance for the wheel to get all the way up in there. And then on the inside, ignore all this, still needs to come out, but basically cut a section out here and hammer this up so it's flush, and that can get welded up, and then this will probably get cut and pushed further back up into there. But what I've been doing is allowing even more clearance, so the wheel should be able to sit like flush up against this, and just getting this top section and everything a lot higher than it was, just to allow for as much clearance as possible and hopefully get the car on the ground. But now I need to cut the door. That is absolutely terrifying. So this line that I have on here, this is going to be where the top of the flare is. This is essentially the weld line. This will be where the bead is for the weld. And then on the door, it's obviously going to be a little bit different. The inside of the door here, and from what I've been looking at right here, we should be okay. It's not going to come up into this main part at all, but I am kind of worried about the seal and everything. So I don't know if I want to tackle that right now. That's kind of scary. I don't know if there's a way that I could maybe get the door line to flow into the flare. I don't want to do it and make it look super awkward, because obviously the radius of the arch is going to be like following this line. And so if I then keep this, factory body line of the door, of which the arch followed the old radius, it's going to look really, really awkward. I don't know if maybe there's a way that I could just do somewhere halfway between so that it like still goes over the flare, but then maybe just like follows this a little closer. I don't know. The original plan was that I was going to cut this above the flare, but then I did realize that it's going to be really hard to actually mold this section here, because you will have the door and then you will have the flare and they won't be connected at all. So getting any kind of shaping in there is going to be super difficult. Yeah, maybe I won't cut that right now, but I am, you know, trying to take a good look at it and figure out what it is that I want to do with that. This stuff is like completely new to me, obviously. And so I'm just figuring it out as I go. And if you have any suggestions as to how maybe I could do the door, main thing for me is I just really don't want it to look awkward. I don't want it to be too high and not be able to get molded properly, and I don't want it to be too low and clearly not follow the natural curve of the new radius. So, all right, so I have my Sharpie. I'm gonna try and sketch kind of what I think I should do. This line that I already have right here, my intention was I was going to shave into the door a little bit here, so I just kind of followed this natural curve of this inside arch right here. Just comes up a little higher, and then it sits right above the flare, and then obviously it curves up like that. But getting any kind of bondo across that gap is then just going to be kind of difficult. So I'm trying to see if there is then a method where I can kind of do half and half, because I'm not going to do the original door, because then it's going to come down basically like fucking literally to here in the middle of the flare and do that, and that's going to look terrible. So I want to try and see if there's basically a way that I can come down this like halfway between here, so it's like right in the middle of the width of this piece, and then basically taper in from here into that point on the door there, because then that leaves me a little bit of real estate right there to kind of blend that nicely. Hopefully won't look too awkward. So I'm gonna use my Sharpie and basically just kind of sketch on there roughly where everything needs to be. So if I naturally follow this line, imagine a straight line across there. That's like basically right in the middle of that, or maybe like right there. Let's do this. So we're gonna come down from that to that, right? And then if I'm trying to make sure that actually looks like it's fairly natural. I think for that to look better, instead of coming off of the same, because I'm facing this directly here, but if you look at it from over here, it's gonna look completely different. So I actually think instead of having that point there, I should bring, I need to come around this side. Should bring this further over here. So, all right, I'm bringing you in closer because I realize this is kind of difficult to see. So, okay, new point here, I think works a little better. So we'll come from this same corner again, and then basically we're just gonna come down into there. So straight line, ignore the first one. Going to be like that. All right, so that's halfway between there, and then basically we're going to go from a line all the way down to that corner point. Oh my god, this is so awkward to like sketch on, because I really don't have the means to do this properly. Well, that's not straight at all, but you get the point. Okay, that looks absolutely horrible because the line technique was not it, but we'll try and fill in the gap a little bit here just so it looks... So as you can see, we follow off of this door line right here, which it doesn't look too unnatural next to this line here. I may end up bringing this slightly higher, but you kind of get the point. It follows this outside edge, and yeah, it just comes to this point where it naturally flows off of the door right there. And that looks pretty decent, to be honest with you. The perks of doing this is essentially then this piece will be separate from this, and it means that this can then basically just be welded onto the door right here. Means that I have to cut a little bit less of the door, which is nice. And then it leaves this extra space you have from here, you know, upwards to blend that, and it basically will hopefully look as natural as it does over here with blending it. So yeah, I think that that might be the better move, to be honest with you. What do you guys think? how does it look from there? If we, obviously this edge right here is not going to be like a sharp corner. It's going to be a little bit rounded. But I think that that's a pretty good idea. It's definitely going to be easier to work with. Hopefully should look fairly natural, because I mean, you have to remember that this from here into here is going to be blended too, so it's not going to be such a super aggressive transition between like this panel right here and this panel this way. See, I'm glad that we could do something a little bit more exciting in the end of this video. It's been super boring just working on the subframe for the past few videos on this car. This is the stuff that really gets me excited, because I'm like, you know, thinking in my head, planning, and just like using a lot of random skills I've picked up over the years for just eyeballing how things should look. And it's not an exact science to this at all, but figuring out the best way to do it is definitely going to be key. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to end this off here. Massively appreciate you guys watching. I think in the next video, we're probably going to try and get the subframe back in the car, which means once the subframe is back in the car, we can start dialing in the fitment again. We'll put the tires on those wheels, and then hopefully that will mean fully get everything mocked up exactly how I want it to be, make sure that everything's clearanced, and you know, just dial in how much camber is going to be pulled in with the upper control arms and how much is going to be pushed out with the lowers. Exciting stuff for sure. And then the next step after that will hopefully be welding everything back up. So yeah, I'm stoked with the progress that I made today. The subframe has been boring, so happy to be working on this again. But thanks for watching, guys. We will be back here really soon, actually. I'm off work all of this week, so I'm trying to get some stuff done with this. But thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.